but he loves this ground. Front running horse, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, good chance, I hope.
Well, good luck with both of them, and let's tell you about the royal procession, because Harry, the King and Queen are back again here at Ascot, which is great. Absolutely fantastic. It really is such a thrill to see him and looking well and enjoying it. Both of them obviously enjoying it. And yeah, in the first carriage, I think we've got Sheikh Hamad, of course, the head of Kipco, who put so much into racing. The Kipco Champion Series, of course, responsible for that. Loads of investment into racing, into ownership of racehorses. So lovely to see him in the carriage, and with Lady Charles Spencer-Churchill, who, great friend, former flatmate, in fact, of the current Queen. No, oh, that's great. They've been friends for a long time then, so that'll be wonderful company there. And of course, they've got Desert Hero in the Hardwicke Stakes, the King and Queen, and again, they could be celebrating another Royal Ascot. Well, that was a great win last year, wasn't it? Desert Hero winning the King George V handicap, now moved into group company, which is often the case for those winners of the King George V. So pressure's on William Haggis, but what a thrill to have a runner in the Hardwicke. So there'll be, little nail biting going on. What a sight this is, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. Magnificent. It is magnificent, and it's lovely to see these horses behaving themselves. They've been impeccable all week, actually, these horses. And, you know, they're waving to the crowd, which is wonderful as well. And I made some notes a little earlier on in the week about this royal procession, and you know, it's something that's happened for many a year, Harry, and it's popular year in, year out. And I think when it was first introduced, a diarist wrote, no doubt in whatever the publication at the time was, that the whole thing looked very splendid, and it does look very splendid. Oh, it does. And look, there's Lady Delaware in the pink over there, of course, wife of William Earl Delaware, who racehorse owners, great friends of the late Prince Khalid Abdullah, and racehorse owners themselves, and their son Sackville. Ed Sackville,
Ed Sackville has bought many good horses, Ed, and bought them for us, bought them for friends, and runs syndicates for his father in the old days, very successfully as well. So great to see them in the carriages, and with Waffick side. Yes, you and I were just chatting. That's almost a blast from the past, because Bosra Sham carried his colours all those years ago. Yes, Bosra Sham won the Guineas. I remember Bosra Sham as a yearling, the most beautiful yearling, very expensive at the time. And Waffick side was a very big racehorse owner. Also, Lady Carla won the Oaks. Yes. So nice to see him. And of course, with Jessie Harrington. Jessie Harrington, who's had quite a number of runners here actually this week as well, which has been fantastic to see. It's also lovely as well that we have Mr. and Mrs. Jamie Snowden. It's great to see Lucy and Jamie here, and Willie and Jackie Mullins as well. And Willie Mullins has been taking the meeting by storm once again. Well, he's extraordinary, isn't he? I think an 18th Trainers' Championship this year in Ireland. Championship here as well, and I think 35 Group 1 winners in the year. I mean, unbelievable. And the nicest guy you'll ever meet in your life. And one of those people, I've had runners in the Melbourne Cup, and, you know, he's terrific on tour, as it were, and, you know, just the most special man, very modest and unassuming. And Jamie Snowden, over 400 winners, I think, now, and obviously having tremendous success. So a bit of a jumping contingent so far in the carriages. Yeah, it's a busman's holiday, but I don't expect they'll mind that. They'll have just had a wonderful lunch over in the castle as well before this carriage drive up here, and I bet the small talk's pretty impressive. You wouldn't mind being a fly on the wall. What's it like being in the carriage, Harry? Oh gosh, it's such a, you know, it's such an honour, such a privilege to be in the carriages. Really special. Is this the fourth carriage here? This is Sir Michael Stevens, who is keeper of the Privy Purse, looking after all the money side of things for the royal family, and his wife, Lady Stevens, and Mr. Dominic and Mrs. Dominic Spencer-Churchill. I think Dominic, a big player in the property world, and lovely to see them. But no, look, what an honour it is, and get into those carriages in the great park in Windsor. And it's all very quiet, and then as you get closer to the Queen Anne gates, first of all, you get some lovely old age pensioners who are there in the park itself, followed by school kids, and then this incredible wall of noise and sound and cheering, and Yeah, it's extraordinary. So,
are you aware of the huge crowds?
Well, you are, especially when they scream out, "And who the hell are you?" Which they've done to me in the past. No, you are very aware. There's such wonderful, warm feeling and excitement that the King and Queen, are here and coming down. I was lucky enough to do it with the late Queen. Look, they're 15, 20 deep down the straight. And you forget how huge this grandstand is. It's absolutely enormous, nearly whatever kilometre long or something. And I think the whole site, having sort of friends from America and overseas come this week, share owners of mine, this was something they were absolutely not going to miss. So it just shows how special it is.
And I gather that it's the largest crowd of the week here today as well, and I'm delighted to say that the sun has finally come out. It's been a little bit of an overcast and moody morning with the odd little light scud of rain, but there's barely a breath of wind. There is a little breeze which picks up periodically, but it's a glorious afternoon once again, and the sun has come out in time for this procession. And look at the scene, the crowds up by the railings, the majority of which are holding telephones, so I hope they're actually taking the moment to look at it with their eyes as well, because it's something that not many people get to see in person. And you were saying yesterday, Harry, for anyone that wasn't watching, that when you go through Windsor Park, it's Windsor Great Park, it's almost surreal for the silence.
It is. It's just that sound, that old-fashioned sound of the clip-clop and the harness against the horse and the beauty of Windsor Great Park.
At this stage of the week, you'd be in danger of that being quite soporific.
Well, yes. Of course, you shouldn't have had too much wine at lunch at Windsor, but it is quite soporific. It's an incredible feeling, and the carriages are so comfortable. And the late Queen would always, as you come through the Queen Anne Gate, she'd immediately lean over and start looking at the ground and trying to get a feel of how fast or how soft the ground was and how that might affect her horses. But where there was a bit of a headwind yesterday, the standard there is very, very sort of quiet. So it is the most beautiful day. As you say, the sun is out, and having the King and Queen here again, in front of this vast crowd, and of course cheering on his own horse who won last year, it's going to be a very special afternoon ahead.
It will be a very special afternoon. The band are tuning up because in a moment we will have the national anthem. So we will pause for that whilst the royal carriages make their way towards the paddock. The national anthem in front of a sellout crowd here at Ascot of 66,000 people. It's as popular as ever, Harry. It's wonderful to see.
It really is. There's always some chat, the sales not as good as they were last year, or there's the state of the industry, which of course we're all rightly worried about at times. But I think when you come here and you see the jewel in the crown of British racing, it gives everybody real lift and hope and confidence, to go forth. That racing here and this particular event is as popular as it ever has been. And Ascot do such a great job. Every year it's improved. You see everything a little bit different here, a little bit different there. And then they come now to the parade ring. And this is the vast parade ring, packed.
It is packed to the rafters. They are probably, I don't know, 15 deep at least, more, probably 20, who knows. But yeah, it's incredible. And they gave it the 3 cheers yesterday.
I think too, and when they come into this arena here, that sound and the cheer and the noise is quite something. This does not happen anywhere else in the world.
No.
There's no sight like this anywhere else in the world. I mean, Cheltenham, you could argue, on Gold Cup Day maybe, but not quite like this, with top hat and tails and the King and Queen arriving by carriage.
Yeah, it's a real tradition. It's unique, and they are the first carriage, of course, into the parade ring as the crowd doff their cap, start to clap and cheer when they see them come through. And the horses just take it so well. I'm always hugely impressed by that. I know they're used to ceremony, but it's great to see the King and Queen wave at the crowd. I wonder what questions are being asked of His Majesty the King. Then the Cleveland Bays drawing the second carriage, and the third with the famous racing royalty in the third.
Hardly a sweat mark on these horses, Alice. Unbelievable.
This is incredible, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Yeah, if the horses in the races today are that fit, we'll be doing well.
Absolutely. There's Jamie and
Jamie Snowden
Willie
smiling. I
Mullins.
wonder at what point you start feeling really self-conscious.
Yes, didn't quite get the wave we were hoping for there.
Just a subtle smile.
Oh. No,
Yeah,
fantastic.
the final carriage comes through. And how precarious is the alighting from the carriage?
I think not difficult for us boys, but much more tricky for you girls with the shoes, the heels, the hat.
Yeah.
As we saw yesterday, lovely Lady Bamford holding onto her hat and not wanting because it was a windy day yesterday, much windier than it, down the straight. That's always the biggest concern. But I think there was one year here, a couple of years ago, we were doing this together, and one of the horses got very agitated, and they really struggled to hold the carriage.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, that's the...
Hopefully that won't happen again.
No, that's the danger. And they just pull beyond the weighing room steps, and then they halt, and they'll head down. But the Windsor Greys draw the first carriage, and then it's the turn of the Cleveland Bays for the rest. And that just ensures that the first carriage really stands out as they come into the racetrack. So there is our royal procession for the 5th time here this week, and this is the skill. But Harry, we wish